everybody. Welcome back to our partner training videos. I'm Katie Coldiron. I'm the digital archivist at the Wilsonian Public Humanities Lab here at Florida International University. And in this segment, I'm going to be showing you all how to create text searchable PDFs using Adobe Acrobat. Adobe Acrobat is part of the Adobe Creative Cloud suite of software that most of you all have either bought with resources from the Community Data Curation Mellon grant or already had subscriptions at your respective institutions. Adobe Acrobat is the easiest way to create text searchable PDFs. And the reason that we would do this would be, for example, for something that's multi-page, like a book that has text, we would essentially be using Adobe Acrobat to put those images together and make them text searchable, and the end product would be a PDF. So to start, I am going to share my screen so you all can follow along and see my workspace as I go. So the first thing I'm going to do is open Adobe Acrobat, and for this demo, I'm going to be using materials from our partner, the World AIDS Museum's collection that need to be put together into PDFs anyway. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a PDF. I'm going to click here. And I have multiple files. I specifically have two TIFF images that have already been cropped and deskewed in Photoshop that I'm going to put together now into a PDF. So I am going to select multiple files, and this first option, combine files. There are, of course, different ways to do this. You can create PDFs from screenshots. You can put PDFs together, and you'd select this create multiple PDF files option for that. But in this case, the combine files, specifically, I'm going to be combining the TIFF files together. So this is the option that I'm going to select for right now. So I'm going to click add files. I could drag them in, but I'm just going to browse by clicking add files here. And I have these on an external drive right now, so I'm going to navigate to here. And the images I am going to be working with are a little bit down here, a little further down. So I'm just going to scroll down until I get to those. These are part of the Pedro Zamora collection of materials that WAM has focused on digitizing thus far, with using resources from the grant to do so. An intern during summer 2022, Ali Ruiz, digitized all of these images for us using a flatbed scanner that was purchased with resources from the grant. So I just wanted to point out as well, these are images that we've already cropped and deskewed on Adobe Photoshop. So I'm working with images that are completely ready to go. You want to make sure that you've already taken the steps in Photoshop before you do anything here in Acrobat, because if you have images that still need to be cropped or whatnot, that's going to show up in your PDF. So the images I'm going to be putting together here are 238 and 1 and 238 2. This is one thing when you're naming your files, when you're scanning, it's important to remember that to adhere to a uniform file naming convention. So once you get to this post processing part of the digitization process, that you know what you're looking for and what you need to work with. So I'm going to select both of those. I held down the command key to do so, and I'm going to push add files. And as you can see, I have here a 2-page letter. So just to make sure that I have what I need, I'm going to magnify these two TIFF files. So that one, and then yes, I can confirm that these are from a singular letter. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push combine up here on the right hand side. And depending on how many files you're working with, this could be a slower process. So you might have to wait a little bit, but don't get discouraged because it will be put together. Also, if you have larger files, it could slow down the combination a little bit. So the next step of this is to make this document's text searchable. So I am going to go over here to the right-hand side and click Scan and OCR. OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition. So essentially what this does is converts the pages in this newly created PDF into text searchable images. So it won't change. The end product will still be a PDF. It'll just have this added capability for a user using it from here on out to be able to use this magnifying glass to go up and search for a particular word. And I will show you all that once we've done the OCR, because it won't work until then. So I'm going to push Scan in OCR. I'm going to go to Recognize Text in this file. And I'm going to, you can do this by pages. I've seen a few partner materials at the different community partner institutions in the Mellon grant that have materials that are in multiple languages. In that case, like if you have, a page in French or page in English, you can set it for, current page or page range. In this case, the language is the same on all the pages. So I'm going to set it to English, United States, and then I'm going to click Recognize Text. And as you'll see, the converting scan page to searchable image. Now that the process is complete, I will show you what we did. So I'm going to search for Zamora, the last name of the subject of this collection. Zamora, Zamora, Zamora. And those were the matches that were found. And as you see, there are no more matches in the document. One thing with this capability is that nothing is perfect. So it's good to go in and check and see if you need to do any editing. What you can do is go to you can go to, if you need to make any corrections, you can go to correct recognize text. And if anything looks off to you, you can change it in here. So now that I am confident that the OCR is okay, one thing about this is, one thing to remember about this is that it's not perfect. And so it's good to go in and check, but also that depending on what language you're working with, for example, this really doesn't support non-Roman text scripts that well. So there are other tools that have been developed and are being developed to work with that. Also, handwriting is one that's usually more difficult for this to recognize. So just, keep that in mind. In this case, we're working with, a document typed in English in Times New Roman. So we can be pretty sure that, and I already did the check to make sure that it was okay. And so it's not something that we really have to worry about as much. So now that I have this PDF, I'm going to save it as whatever my file name is. So I pick what folder I want this in. In this case, I'm going to save it where we've been storing these materials as a PDF. And one thing is, going back to file names, it's very, very important to have a solid file naming convention. So whatever that's going to be, just make sure that, it's something that you can follow and remember. So in this case, for right now, I'm going to save it as binder one here. Or actually, I'm going to save it as WAM PZ 0283, and I'm going to click save, and I have a PDF that is now ready to be stored in a digital repository like dpanther.